How you doing, brothers and sisters? Found some pretty good stuff. As usual, I been wanting to make a video, and it's not a lot of time. It's funny that I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I think, but I see these people that put out 20 videos a day, hundreds of videos, and I just wonder, where do they have this time? I mean, don't they have families? You know, wives, husbands, girlfriends, children, jobs. But I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks that way. I just don't know. And then when you add in the fact too that oh, never mind. I guess this information is just for the few, the handful of people that are able to think for themselves and are in touch with the Holy Spirit. Because I really don't think it's that difficult. But to me, again, this conspiracy with these hybrid languages that can all be proven. All you have to do is look the words up, and it's all proven. Everything they're saying, they're telling us the truth, literally. Even when they're lying, they're still technically telling us the truth. And the whole Bible, throughout the whole Bible, it talks about the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law. The Old Testament, legal. The Old Testament is Old Testament contract. It's a contract, and it was literal, the written law, and the law was one document. And if you broke one part of the law, you broke the whole of the law. That's stated throughout the Bible. So the Old Testament is legal. Legal also means, I found that in a Webster's dictionary, legal had to do with salvation. It was legal was defined as the belief of salvation through good works rather than salvation by grace. Um, so the Old Testament was works, and that's where all these other belief systems come from. They're just going Old Testament. That's the contract of this world. That was the only option for this world. That you were judged by your works. That's it. Your deeds were weighed, and that was the end of it. And because we were never supposed to be in this world, Adam and Eve. Eve was deceived into coming into this world with the word game through the serpent. And Adam followed his bride, just like Jesus. Came into this world. He was not deceived. That's what the Bible tells us. And he came here because he loved her. It was a rescue mission, or at least to be with her. And same thing with our Lord Jesus Christ. He was never deceived. He knew exactly what this place was. He was the creator of everything. But he came in anyway, and he suffered. Again, that word suffered, it means to allow, to consent for that to happen, to be caused harm, but by your own consent. You had the ability to stop it at any time, but you chose not to. And a lot of this I went over before, but the New Testament, basically, he fulfilled the old contract, giving way that he was able to offer a better testament, a better contract, a New Testament. And our debts are paid. But what they're doing in this world, again, is they're going by the letter of the law. They're playing the word game. They love the Old Testament because it punishes. But if you know the word games in this world, you can avoid the punishment while benefiting off of others, capitalizing, capitalist society. You're capitalizing off the shortcomings of others, and you can avoid the punishments yourself, because every word, that's the whole point of these bastard languages, these Nephilim hybrid languages like English, a mixture of French, German, Latin, Greek, a little bit of everything, to create multiple meanings, multiple definitions for all words. So, if every word only had one meaning, it would be a lot more difficult for people to deceive each other. And because this world is also based on belief, you know, people see all this stuff happen, so they believe things like their public servants can tell them what to do. Well, it's not, it's a contract. Again, quickly, how the law actually works is that our legislators will write a public law, you know, for when you're in the the public area, not in your private area, your property, and they'll literally enroll it on parchment, and they'll have it stored at the Capitol. So that could be thousands of pages, but everywhere in those public laws, it's going to state somewhere, somehow, that in order for another man or woman to break that law, they would have to cause harm, injury, and loss to another man or woman. But then the legal society sends their agents in, their attorneys, and they write down what they believe the public law reads, and that's where the code comes in. It's the codification of the public law. And that's usually what you'll see, the code, the few sentences, no person shall, blah blah blah. Again, we went over person a million times. The first meaning of person in legal land is a partnership, an LLC, a corporation, a fictitious entity. So, McDonald's, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Wawa, 7-Eleven are all legal persons. So do you believe that Wawa or 7-Eleven or any of these fictitious entities, they only exist in the second dimension on paper? That's the only place they exist in the 2D world. That you, as a man or woman, have the same rights as that, or that corporation has the same rights as you do. God created man in his image, but he has no respect of persons. And then also a person, definition number 2, would be an individual according to their rank within a society. Well, what society? The legal society in this case. But it could be any society. Anytime you join a club. I remember even when I was when I went to college, I had joined a fraternity, a brotherhood, a society, and they immediately give you a new name. They name you. So when you name something, you have dominion over it, like Adam with the animals. And then you bind yourself by agreement, or it's a contract, whether it's written or verbal or whatever, to the rules of that society, to the codes of that society. So if you break, or break one of those rules or codes, then you have accepted the penalties, the punishments, the fines, whatever, that go along with it. You agreed. It's a contract. Same thing with the legal society. As a man, this land is still common law land, so you never break the law. But if you break a code of the legal society, because they created that legal name, they control that name, again, like Adam. And when you, as a man or woman, claim to be that legal person, that legal name, now you have, if they call it joinder or suretyship. And they play this suretyship, insurance, suretyship, indemnification. They play this game to mock what Jesus did. He came in as our surety. And if you do like a King James Bible word search and look up the word surety, you'll see verses about us being warned not to be a surety for another. But that's what when you enter any society, even if you get married, that's a society. That's a citizen, means a family member or a family. Same thing. You become a husband servant. Then you are accepting liability. You're becoming surety for your wife and for your children later on. So that's how that all works. It's pretty simple. But then all you have to ever do is when they're going after the legal person, is don't consent to be that legal person. Separate. You got to separate the man or the woman from that legal person, that legal fiction. And you do it in writing. You do it in 2D. Like, that's where their world exists. They can't hear a man or woman speak And I guarantee if you start writing letters to the man or woman who acts as one of these officers, administrators, minister, administrator, clerk, clergy, it's cleric, it's all religious titles. And even when in the Bible, when it talks about how God hates the Nicolaitans, well, Nico means like victory, and over the Laitans, the laity, the people. He hated that, having a church or administration, an office over the people. He hates that because it always becomes what it's become today here and other places. It becomes a communist society where you have these wicked people who are playing this game uh, that their father, the devil, has shown them, and then it gets passed on. And at the lower levels, I'm sure a lot of these people just believe they have this authority. But it's funny when you call them out as a man or a woman, regardless of what they know or don't know, most of them are terrified. They won't answer. They'll do anything they can not to give you their name. It's like you see in the movies with the demons and, well, devils, because demon's not in the King James. Demon can have a positive meaning. It's always devil. They always want to get their name in those movies, so you have control over them. When you get someone's name, it's the same thing, like you name them, so you have them bound. Just like when they draw their circles, circle and the triangle. And it's funny, that circle binds them, just like the circle of the earth. We're bound in this circle right now. We're made. These bodies are made of the earth. So the land and the people are one. We're bound into this fish tank or whatever it is. But it's funny, even in those the one book I had mentioned this one time before, I think, and it was saying the circle with the triangle, what they used to, it was called, the definition was of pacts or signing a contract or deal with the devil. And the way that was done was you would do that circle with the triangle, and at the bottom you would write IHS, and that's the same letters the Jesuits use today. That's their the letters they choose. And it's funny, that also led me to understand this whole name game, understand why they appear to be controlling everything today, is because what they're doing is, again, going by the letter of the law and controlling people, because people have fallen away from God. So, if you're not saved by Jesus, if you're not believing in God and the Lord, then you are bound by the Old Testament, and Satan, the god of this world, is running the show, and the Vatican and the Jesuits are underneath him in the hierarchy, him and his fallen angels, and that's who's running everything. Your taxes, everything. It's a tithe. You're tithing the Catholic Church, and Catholic literally means, if you look it up, it'll say universal religion, accepting, liberal, broad, wide, just like, Jesus tells us to take the straight and narrow path, and the broad and wide way is the way to hell. So everything other than Bible believing Christianity and being saved by Jesus is technically Catholic. And the Jesuits, how they're also controlling everything, what are they doing? They call themselves the Society of Jesus. So they're doing everything in the name of Jesus. And that's why they're playing this letter of the law game. So, if you do things in the name of Jesus, that's what you're supposed to do. But they're playing, like the dumb card of, well, that's what it says literally, and that's what we thought, and that's, we thought that's what it meant. But, God is able to judge the heart, the intent. That's the spirit of the law, the intent. He knows what you meant, what everyone, their intent or the meaning behind what they're doing. So that's how they're able to control everything and be in charge, is because they name themselves the Society of Jesus. And when we do things, we're supposed to do the things in the name of Jesus. So I'm not saying, when you're dealing with your friends or family or, normal everyday situations, but may not hurt when they're, to give that name. And again, what you believe, you can always use that as, because they can't, no government or its agents can control or tell a man what he can or cannot believe. And that's what it comes down to. They always try to get you to confess. Like, they have these things in these local courts, and it's not even a court. It's an administrative hearing, and it's not a trial. No one was really swearing in, but they still trick everyone into thinking it's a real trial. It's a quasi court or administrative hearing office, and so people confess, and that's a conviction. A conviction is what you believe, right? If you believe in Jesus, you have a conviction. Or when you do something and you really truly believe it's wrong, the Holy Spirit convicts you. You feel it and hear it right away in your own mind and in your own soul that, if you're judging someone in your mind, usually what would happen is right away you'll be like, oh yeah, I did that too one time. Oh man, how can I judge, how can I say that about him? I did that myself. So that's a conviction. That's a belief. And another pretty wild thing, and believe me, we have these little Bible study groups. Uh, it's only a few people. Right now, it's basically me, my best friend, Mike, and my wife. And my wife used to say to me, when she was first starting to come around and get all this, I mean, she'd always, when she was really starting to get into it more, she would say, well, don't you think you're bringing up the law too much? And it was hard to explain until, someone actually, as usual, people have to see it for themselves. The whole thing is about law. It's all about law. So everything we do today there's a procedure, civil procedure. You're not acting like the law of the jungle. Might makes right, like Bush said. It's the rule of law. So everything, there has to be notices given. There has to be consent, and they've even given notice to who the Antichrist is. And people get twisted again. There's three spirits like frogs, and if you look like frog, or amphibian, it literally means, having two lives, living two separate lives. Frog, like these spirits can leap from one body to another, but they've given notice of the Antichrist. Remember the three figures? It's the dragon, which is Satan, the beast, which is the Antichrist, and then the false prophet. Well, here, if you look up Benjamin Creme, if anyone has done this research, you may have already heard of this name. Go to Wikipedia. Benjamin Creme, and he was called Share International magazine, and he was tied to the Theosophic societies. He was always talking about the Maitreya, the avatar for the Aquarian age. Let's see what else. He was into all this craziness, and he would always talk about the Maitreya. He actually gave written public notice in a newspaper the way you're supposed to, for the public notice. He was a follower of Alice Bailey. She was founder. I think she was the founder of that Lucifer magazine, Lucius Trust, and how he was telepathically contacted by one of the masters, one of the what do they call, the ascended masters? Where are they ascending from? Okay, and on the next one they'll say 1982 prediction. If you read right on his wiki page. Let's see. In the spring of 1982, Creme placed advertisements in newspapers around the world saying, "The Christ is now here." He did this in 1982. according to Krem, the Christ, whom he also called Maitreya. Now, Christ means a Messiah, so this is how they can say they're Christians, or Christ, or they're technically, literally, by the letter of the law, telling the truth. This is their Messiah. Um, he also called Maitreya would announce his existence on worldwide television broadcasts. Krem stated in these newspapers advertisements that the second coming of Christ would occur on Monday, the 21st of June, 1982, the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. Whose birthday is that? That's Prince William's birthday. June 21st, 1982, Prince William was born. And the second coming of their Christ, well, what does that mean? How is that literally true? It's not about Jesus, so, oh, that's right. In the Bible it says he is one of the eight. He is the eighth, but what does it say? He is the eighth, but he is one of the seven. So, apparently, this is the second time this particular one is coming back. What else? Where did we stop? On 14th May 1982, Krem held a press conference in Los Angeles. More than 90 reporters attended. Of course, Los Angeles, angels. 90 reporters attended and heard Krem announce that Maitreya was living within the Asian community in the Brick Lane area of London. When he was asked at this press conference, what if somebody tried to kill him, Krem stated that Maitreya could not be killed because he is invulnerable. He presented the reporters with a challenge. If the media made a serious attempt to seek Maitreya in London, he would reveal himself to them. Krem stated that when the day of declaration occurred, the Christ will come on the world's television channels, linked together by satellite. All those with access to television will see his face. He will establish a telepathic rapport with all humanity simultaneously. While the Christ is speaking, everyone will feel far more love than they've ever felt before. That massive outpouring of love will cause hundreds of thousands of miracle cures to take place simultaneously. Okay, after 1982, Krem made a number of additional predictions and announcements about the imminent appearance of Maitreya based on his claims of receiving telepathic messages from a master of wisdom. Okay, then it goes to in 1997, Krem again predicted that Maitreya would appear on television and be interviewed around the world. This time, there was far less media interest. In 1987, Princess Diana died. August 31st, 1997. Or was it September 5th? No, she died in 97, though. On January 14th, 2010, Krem announced that Maitreya would have given his first interview on American television. Soon afterwards, several people in the United States working from Krem. That's where they went in. They thought it was someone else. Let's see. Anything else? Crop circles and UFOs. Krem gave his explanation as to how crop circles are made by UFOs in this magazine. The crop circles are there to draw attention to the fact that space brothers are there. They are amazing constructions. They are made in seconds by the ships of the Space Brothers. They are complex, beautiful constructions which cannot be made in any other way. They appear all over the world, but the majority are in the south of England. Why? Because Maitreya is in London. Well, that's interesting. So it gave Prince William birthday and location. Right. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And again, legal notice like they're supposed to. Just like even when Jesus, when he was crucified, where did he first go? He went down to hell and basically gave them notice. He put them on notice. He gave a public declaration and notice there. So this is the game that's going on, and this is how the things work. Like you get a notice from an attorney, which is just a third-party collection agent, third-party debt collector. You know, you usually get a second notice, and if you don't respond, a non-response is a response. Silence is consent. So if you don't respond or do anything, you're just agreeing to everything they say. The second notice, which is that, or if it's a trespass, it'll be a cease and desist. And then after that, they can file the claim. Well, they'll file a complaint in legal land. A man can make a claim. And I've gone into all that before. That's funny when it talks about the Antichrist, it always talks about a prince. But I also find funny, since I believe the Vatican, the Pope is actually the false prophet, but a bishop or a cardinal is also a prince. So they're princes too when they call someone a cardinal. That's in their own words. And what neat words did I find? Child, real quick, when I talk about how they take children and child. Youth of gentle birth, used as a kind of title. We talked about titles before. You know, the title isn't a good thing to have a title. If you give someone a title, if you're the creator or you issue the title, that's the one who controls it. Again, like Adam, he titled the animals. He gave them titles. He had dominion over them. So it's not the one who is titled the thing. It's whoever's, giving the title has the real control. Just like let's see, the queen, she gives people titles, but she can instantly strip them of all those titles and lands and everything she's given because she was the title giver. Or like even with boxing, Muhammad Ali, they stripped him of his title because he didn't go into the army. So there's no law that requires a man or woman to accept a title. And Mr. or Mrs., that's a title. Doctor, professor, they're all titles. Sir, a title. It's all titles. Even your last name is a type of title. You look up last in the legal dictionary. It's all titles. And you don't have to accept the title. And it can be based upon your belief. God created man in his image. That's the only title you can stick to. I'm a man. Not human. Hue means altered, modified, changed. The color of, kind of like. So human, which never appears in the King James Bible again. And it's funny, even when you study the new versions, and again, that word version, you look up the meaning of that word, or version can mean a translation from one language to another, just like even translation could literally mean when we're translated at the rapture, we're translated from 3D to whatever we get, 4, 5, 6D, whatever it is, or you can, when you go down in capacity to that legal person, you're translating yourself from 3D to 2D, just going up and down in rank and order, just like on a check or money orders, they'll say pay to the order of. Well, why? Why does it say that? Unless it's a postal money order, then it says pay to, because the post office is, there's two of those going on today too. The USPS, that's legal land, that's fiction, where they send all their garbage through. And 3D is the post office, is which man is. So the postal money order, that's why it says pay to. It's to that man or woman. But the other ones are going through legal land, so it's pay to the order of. Going back to the second dimension. But we're talking about the Holy See. Could that holy mean like as in a bunch of holes in it? Or sea, like SEEC, or could it be SEA, like the ocean, the sea? Because like their maritime, their admiralty law is what they're going by, the merchant law. So, man has dominion over the land, so the flood came, and that was a punishment from God, so the devil tries to turn it around and try to use this whole new type of law, like, the law of the law of the waters, the law of the seas. But then again, you can always flip that back, because in this world of good and evil, everything goes back. It's a two-edged sword. It can cut both ways. That where is the sea? Where is the ocean? What is it premised upon? It's premised upon the land. At the bottom of the ocean, there's always land. So just like the codes, the legal codes, they're premised upon the public law. So, you know, the Holy See. I think that's another little joke. What else do we have? Oh yeah, the Vatican comes from the word vates, V-A-T-E-S, and vates means, if you go to etymology, that's pretty neat. Etymoline.com. Etymoline. That's neat. It has a little cherubim hybrid thing at the top. That's cool. Poet, bard. Let's see. To blow, inspire, spiritually arouse. Of Old English, W-O-D, mad, frenzied, god named Woden. Oh, who's that? The one-eyed god Woden, uh, father of Thor. You know, the Antichrist figure Thor and his father, the devil, and you know how they fought, and that'll be the good cop, bad cop, and how the Bible talks about if Satan, his kingdom is divided or fights against itself. Well, that's what it's going to do. The good cop, bad cop, the Antichrist, good cop, devil, bad cop. So Vates. What else does Vates mean? Oh, it means a prophet, a soothsayer. Uh, let's see, interpreter, spokesman, especially of the gods, inspired preacher, teacher, from pro, before, forward, hence. And look, the lights are. Yeah, that's fun. All kinds of neat stuff happens when I share this information. You get sick, computers crash, you get attacked, they try to shut down your business. All kinds of amazing things happen when I share this. Let's see, the Greek word was used in Septuagint for Hebrew soothsayer. Early Latin writers translated Greek prophets with Latin vates, but the Latinized form propheta, so that they the old Latin game again. When if you look at the King James, it's mostly Anglo type words, and majority, because they always try to act like the King James is so much harder to read, but really it's like a 5th grade reading level when they analyze it. And all these other versions, these newer version, because the other meaning of the word version I didn't say was another a telling of a story from one's perspective, from the other side, from an opposing view. So the devil's point of view, the Bible, that's what these new Bibles are, from the devil's perspective. That's why people like Rupert Murdoch hold the copyrights on, I believe it's the NIV. So, where are we at? There goes the lights again. Chiefly due to Christian writers, probably because of pagan associations of vates. And then the newer satanic versions, perversions of the Bibles, they use the Latinized words, and the King James tends to use 1 to 2 syllable words, which is common law. That's what actually a magistrate, the man acting as a magistrate, told someone. Said, I believe you're trying to use this common law stuff, and I highly recommend that if you do, you stick to 1 and 2 syllable words. And then the newer ones are like 7th, 8th grade reading levels, and they're mainly Latinized words. So the King James was definitely written, it was given to us when English was actually kind of getting stable, and it was in more of a pure form, if it ever really had one, but it was, obviously more pure in the beginning. And now, as it's gotten more Latinized and more mixed in, more of the word games come in. It's even funny, like words like magic or music. If you asked other people from around the world, they would instinctively believe there's a K at the end. And that would probably be from partly King James and the older text, because the CK, adding the K, would actually before to know that it was that the k sound, k, because the c can go make an s sound. Well, the c is missing in those two words, magic. So what would magic be if the c sound, if the c letter c at the end sounded like an s? Magus, like magistrate, magi, the magistrates using the word magic, magus, and also music. If the C there had the S sound, what would it be? Muses, muses, the muse. Oh, okay, the daughters of Satan, and that's what they're. All these things are terms of art, the arts, the liberal arts, movies, music, politics. It's all arts. It's just art. All these letters, all these words, it just scribbles on a piece of paper. It's a picture. It only has meaning because people believe in it. Oh, and also real quick, Bates wood, where we get wormwood. If you look those words up, wood, like with Woden and Bates, wood literally would mean violently insane. Now obsolete, of course, because we Latinized everything. From Old English wode, mad, frenzied. From Proto-Germanic woda, possessed. Possessed, that's a nice word. Mad, madness, rage, fury. And the god named Odin. There you go. And then worm would be dragon or serpent. So wormwood is literally serpent possession. Just like the word zombie, if you look that up, you know how they always put the zombies out there. I mean, part of it's making fun of, the masses out there that are into fart jokes and lottery tickets and whatever else. I did videos about fidget spinners and fart jokes and showed some nude pictures, I'd have 1 trillion views. So that'd be awesome. That's real important stuff. But since I tell the truth, even the people that supposedly are into the stuff, most of them aren't really interested in how to actually win and beat all the legal nonsense, because lawful trumps legal every time. Common law trumps their legal proceedings, their hearings. Claim trumps a complaint every time. But if you look up that word zombie, it'll actually talk about serpent possession, and so I think that's probably what happens when the pit gets open. Is those spirits seek vessels. But I think that's all I can do for now. God bless you all. If anyone has any questions or comments, feel free. I try to get back to everyone, and believe me, the comments do help. And this word game, any questions about that? Again, people I've seen where people had their children taken, and if they would have went the legal route, they probably never would have saw them again. Months and months are going by. They did the common law, doing a claim for their property, and their 4 children were returned immediately within a couple days. So this stuff works. It has teeth, and once you know it, the real key is believing it. Because once you know how you feel and how God wrote on your heart the true law, that we all know what's wrong and right, then everything they try to do is a trick, and you just figure it out. It comes quickly after you get it, after you truly believe it. You get the brainwashing out of your head. God bless you all. Thank you. Bye.